I got into mining quite by accident. I grew up in South Texas, came to the Colorado School of Mines to go to college, went there 2 years, and in my junior year, I finally took a course in what was going to be my major. And after taking one course, I said, holy moly, I'm going to do this the rest of my life. And I was trying to figure out what to do when I saw a film published by Utah, what's now Utah Copper, about the Kennecott mine. I got fascinated with it, changed my major, went into mineral processing, have not regretted it, spent my entire life in that. And that's how I came to be at the Climax mine. I worked at Climax on the Hill for about 20 years, then elsewhere within Climax organization for a half dozen, and then I returned to Climax for the startup. The people I worked with were nice enough and kind enough to teach me the skills on the job. I learned from them, I learned from everyone I ever worked with, and probably the most important thing was that people were patient with me and I learned how to work with people, and that was the real key. Mining is not something that's just you go out and dig holes in the ground and then process the ore. Mining is working with people. It's like any other job, like any other industry. People are the key to it. And when you work with people and treat them the way you wish to be treated, they work back with you and things are well. Well, when I was working at Climax, the primary product was molybdenite concentrate. In addition, there were byproducts of pyrite, cassiterite, which is a tin mineral, and wolframite, which is a tungsten mineral. The first time I went underground, I worked underground in the underground crusher. First time you go underground, there really is a real sense of wonder, there's a sense of fascination, and a sense almost of fear at the same time. What am I going to find? What's it going to be like? But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Climax was a good mill to work in, and the new Climax is a good mill to work in. Milling to me is where it's at. Mining is exciting. Climax was an innovator, still is an innovator. The state-of-the-art mining equipment, state-of-the-art milling equipment, those have been its goal and one of the reasons for its success over the years. In the 1930s, it was building what then was the state-of-the-art concentrators. In the 1950s, and has expanded in the 1960s, they were putting state-of-the-art equipment in. The innovations are legion at Climax. It's one of the things that makes Climax, made it work and still does make it work. The new mill now is state-of-the-art. And when I was there, we went from manual/analog controls. Just as computers were coming out, we started converting to direct digital control of our milling process. Did not go without a lot of hiccups, in all honesty, but it was one of those things where this was the leading edge to get more efficient. Mines that don't innovate, they don't succeed. The entire mining process is like a chain. Each link leads to the next link. So you have the geology and exploration that leads to mine development. The mine produces ore that's taken to the crusher and then the mill. The crusher at Climax was a 60-inch gyratory, 60-inch Nordberg gyratory, the largest one in the world when it was installed in 1952. And by the way, is still in operation up at Fort Knox in Fairbanks, Alaska. After the ore is crushed, it comes out in chunks as large as a desk. It's crushed down to soccer ball size, and then from there it goes through secondary and tertiary crushers where it's reduced in size to about pea gravel size. Then it goes to the mill. In the mill, the ball mills grind this pea gravel sized ore down to the consistency of a sand. It's a liquid slurry. That's where water was added to the process. It would go to classifiers that would screw the larger particles back up, like a screw conveyor, back up into the mill, while the smaller particles that were fine enough would flow over the end as a slurry to the flotation cells. In the flotation cells, the molybdenite, after you had added some minor amounts of reagents, The molybdenite would actually attach to air bubbles and float to the surface of the cell and be removed, skimmed off, and that process was called flotation. It would then go to several more steps until it was purified and be approximately 95 to 99% pure product. The non-float from that initial flotation step, which would be the tailing, would go to byproducts. At byproducts, there were spirals, spiral classifiers, there were tables, just like you'd see in the gold mining movies, shaking tables. There was more flotation. There was electromagnetic separations, there were electrostatic separations, and that is where the pyrite, the cassiterite, and the wolframite concentrates were all made. And from there, the tailing would report to the tailing pond where it's being stored for perpetuity or rework by future generations. That's also where the water is settled off, reports to pump stations, and is reused in the process continuously. I didn't work at the mine just for a paycheck. Granted, I was happy to have it, but that's not my reason for being there. My reason for being there was the challenge. No one does a job just for money. They have to have some satisfaction, and to achieve that, you have to find what you like and what you're good at and what you can do. For me, mining supplied that need.